Hello, boys and girls. We're getting ready to read in our reading book. And if you'll turn to page 46, the story Hermit Crabs. So I want you to go ahead and find this story in your book. And we'll go ahead and get started. All right, this story happens to be a science article. And it happens to be nonfiction. And if you'll remember, nonfiction texts teach us, give us facts, and we can learn from. So we're going to read this science article, and we're going to see what we can learn about real hermit crabs. Now I want you to follow along with me as I read. And we also have a lot of real photographs that we can look at, and we know that we can learn by the pictures too. All right, so let's start out and follow along with me as Miss Williams reads. Hermit crabs. What's it like to pull your house on your back? Ask a hermit crab. It would know. Now I'm going to start with our story. And remember, you're going to follow along and you're going to look at the pictures. Now I'm going to ask some questions, so I want you paying attention to our reading. Many crabs have a hard shell, but not the hermit crab. Its back is soft. The hermit crab must look for a shell that does not have an animal in it. The hermit gets in the shell and pulls it along. If an animal comes, the crab ducks in the shell and hides. Look at it hiding. Now, guys, how is a hermit crab different from most other crabs? Think about the picture of it here. How is it different from most other crabs? Is it because it doesn't have a shell, does it? It doesn't have its own shell. And how does a hermit crab get a shell? How does it get a shell? Well, it has to find an empty shell left by another animal, doesn't it? Bella, you can come in and get your thing, okay? It has to find another shell left by another animal, an empty shell. Now, guys, let me turn the page. This hermit is much too big for its shell. It must switch shells. Here's a big shell. The hermit pulls out of its first house. Then it pops right into the new one. Look at this. See number 1, 2, 3. There's the steps that a hermit crab has to go to when it finds a new home. Now, if you go to the seashore, look for a shell that walks. Is a hermit crab in it? What a crab! Now, guys, I want you to think, why do you think a hermit crab needs a shell? Why would a hermit crab need a shell? Why would it need one? Do you think it's to protect itself from other animals, doesn't it? Now, why does the hermit crab need to switch shells sometimes? I want you to think about that. Why would a hermit crab need to switch shells? Do you think it's because it outgrows its shell and it needs a bigger one? Now, I want you to think back to our story, Moving Day. How is Moving Day like this story, Hermit Crabs? Well, are both stories about a hermit crab? Yes, they are. And guys, how are they different? Think about Moving Day. Could Moving Day really happen? And then think about the hermit crabs in this story. So Moving Day is a make-believe story, and Hermit Crabs is a science article. It's real. So it could really happen. Now what I want you to do is I want you to take and I want you to read this story on your own, and I want you to look close at the pictures and see what you can learn from it.